This is all like hypothetical, like looking at it. It's not necessarily how I feel about it. I think it's great. I'm super glad that they did come out with this set. But again, I'm not necessarily excited about the way they handled it. And again, same situation with the Sisters Battle. You know, I've been in this hobby for decades. People have been screaming, wanting Sisters of Battle, wanted updated rules, everything. They finally got updated rules with the index, and then GW came out and like messed that all up with like the beta codex and all that garbage with X of Faith, and then they pump up for like 2 years the models, the brand new models that everybody's been wanting forever. Meanwhile, like 10 third-party groups have come up with amazing line of knockoff models. So then they finally come up with these models. They get everybody hyped up for like almost 2 years. It seems like they've been promoting these things, and then they're sold out on the website in like 5 minutes. I don't know, man. That doesn't make sense to me, and I can understand why people would be like disheartened by that situation because they hyped it up so much that there's no way they could act like they didn't know like people were hyped for it. Like if you did that much like promotions and marketing and hype for something and you weren't getting a response, I feel like you would have probably shut it down way before that, or like at least not been putting that much effort into it or whatever. I don't know. The whole situation was terrible, and I think it left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I can only imagine, at least like the older players were like used to it. And to me, like when I was holding that box in my hand today, I was just thinking, I can't even believe this is real right now. It's been so long we've been asking for this. And in the meantime, so much other junk has like sprung up from Games Workshop that people didn't necessarily ask for or want or whatever. It's almost like, man, how come this took so long? And then it does come out, and of course, like, there's none of them. People are going to want them. And then to come out afterwards, man, and say, like, it was a one-time release, but don't worry, like, everything else is coming too. There's limited models in here that certain people might want. I mean, I think the Cannon S looks atrocious, so you can have mine if you want it. Just, leave a note in the comments, and maybe when I get to 100 subscribers, I'll give it away. But, I don't want it. Somebody else might though, and then that produces essentially like a third party market for those limited edition models. Unless you're going to go back on your word now and then you're going to come out later and you are going to release that model, which in my opinion would actually just make a lot more sense. It's cool that you have them limited in the kits or whatever, but you should definitely release them later on. It should never really be an option where, those models are never going to be available anywhere else except for in that kit. But again, that is my opinion. So, I don't know. Man, we're getting close there. That's the majority of the catwalk pieces cut out. I may need. I think I figured it was going to be 4 of the one sprue and 3 of the stair sprue. I was thinking about actually putting in a set of stairs over here, like up through here as well. I haven't decided for sure yet, but I may do something like that. Also, there's some different pieces that you have options to, like out of these various ones I cut up. So I didn't really pay attention to this a ton, but there's like, okay, this is just your basic one, and it has 2 of the prongs coming out of it, like a 90-degree angle, and sort of a cool look to it, but just a basic floor tile look. Then you have this one. It's like a little more fancy. It has the manhole coming through it and the ability to attach a ladder to the bottom of it. So pay attention to where you keep this one. It again has the 90-degree 2 pieces. And then finally this one, I think comes with the stairs, and it's the 3-piece one. So it can actually like expand in a different way. Like it's like a T shape basically it can expand in. And that one has like a pretty cool like floor pattern to it. I really like that one. It gives it like a little different of a look and kind of makes me think more of like stairs look, honestly. So I think what I'm going to do is... This is a weird little setup because I kind of have it set up right now as a floater. There is going to be another one in the back over there. Matter of fact, cut out a few more of these. I know I'm going to be short. I think I kind of cut it off there a little preemptively. Because I definitely need at least one more of these. I'm definitely putting a pillar in that back corner over there. Definitely need one more. I want to do like a floater over the pipe right there, but I'm definitely going to put one in back there. So I might as well go ahead and clean up at least the top for it and a couple more pieces. What I have to see though, I'm honestly not sure. And we're going to find out together, either in this video or the second half of it. Going to find out basically if these pieces can just stack multiples in a row and make up the difference for one of these central pieces, because I don't believe they can, but I need to find out for sure, because I think the distance is going to be off on that. So that's one thing I'm definitely like looking forward to finding out. I thought about laying them out and just kind of like measuring it to kind of see, but I figured I was going to do this anyway, so might as well kind of do it and see where it like ends up at. Kind of get a better idea as to you know, in the future when you're building these boards or whatever, you know, a lot of this stuff I'll have already like discovered, so I'll have a better idea like in my head when I'm planning it out or whatever, or in this case where I cut out like actual pieces of paper and go through like the whole process. But that was just random. I sort of just had like a few extra minutes and I was picturing it like in my head, and sometimes like obviously being a little bit more of a visual person, like I kind of wanted to just see what it was going to actually look like, and I'm glad I did. So I think that one's going to go right there. That should be good. That'll be the center one right there. That'll go right there. That one will go right there. So I need one more of them and one more of them at least. Yeah, again, I mean, this is like the most probably like walkways or catwalks or like flooring that you'll ever use, because you're essentially covering up all the pillars with floors and then adding in like a lot of extra like walkway space. I had thought about here like kind of converting over or combining in like the Mechanicus style terrain, because the walkways are a little bit bigger, like diameter and everything, but also like a little more plentiful. Like it's a lot easier to get like big chunks of that style walkway than it is like this style walkway. You can get the 3-piece that comes in here, but that's pretty much maxing out. So alright, let me see. So if I had one more pillar, that would be ideal right now. I may just kind of scavenge this guy in the meantime on that. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I think probably that's where I'm going to start over there, and then I'll work my way around. So let me kind of just pull some of this out of here. See how well any of this will hold up now. As you can see, going the magnet route is definitely the way to go. So the main reason I'm basically using this guy is that's going to give me the piece that like the legs can come off of. So like this piece will be able to attach specifically onto it, and it gets a lot of the strength and like the integrity from that connection. Yeah, see, that's going to change everything, because that actually lifts up on this just a little bit. So, but I mean, it's not a big deal, obviously. Mess around with some things. That's what this is all about. Learning the way. Alright, so I'm actually going to steal this piece right now. Realistically, it's not a big deal that the catwalk's like out of there. That was literally just to kind of help me get that visual representation. I'll fix that in just a second. That visual representation. because for me it does. It helps a ton to be able to actually see like what's going on. All right, so that's basically gonna be the first part of that. There's a lot of ways we could do this. I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm just gonna take a couple bits of the railing and just do like the temporary. I probably should just put a little drip of glue on here and let them kind of sit in place, because honestly I know, like, again, some of these pieces, like, even if you change your configuration, if you build like basically anything, at some point in time you're gonna want some of these specific like pieces for basically any setup you might have, in my experience. So like a double, basically just a piece that connects two of these columns together, like that's the type of thing, like it's pretty likely. Yeah, they don't really want to stay together. So I'm gonna just put a dab of glue on these bad boys. And I just put it like right on the actual end and stick them together. Put it like right on there. Stick them together, basically like perfect. Make sure they're lined up in a 90 degree. Make sure your mold line's completely removed before you do this. And then I just kind of line them up and make sure they're actually like flat by looking at it from the side. Then give them a nice little bit of pressure on there. That should be pretty good. Let's see how that goes now. Probably should wait a little bit longer, but I think it'll get the basic point across. There we go. And that is the beginning of the catwalk. I'll do my little thing on the catwalk. Oh, sorry about that. Alright, let's see what we got. So these stairs are going to want to dump as soon as I pull this off here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we get the point on this whole situation here. It's crazy to think. I was literally just thinking about this, and I'm almost at the point where, you know, I'm going to be tearing down this whole board and, you know, painting everything very, very soon, which is super exciting. I actually, like, love painting. I know a lot of people, like, don't enjoy it. I used to only like to play, and I would paint, like, whatever I needed to have painted, like, for a tournament or whatever. But now I'm, like, I don't want to say I'm the opposite, because I still enjoy playing, but I barely, if you took the amount of time I play and compared it to the amount of time I paint, like, it's like a staggering difference. As where before, you know, I maybe played 10 times more than I painted. Now it's probably the other way around, if not even more skewed. Oh yeah, so that looks pretty awesome. I like this level here because it's like a total little peek through. That was another thing too. I lined the catwalks up above all of the accessories and lined it up with the pipe so that it didn't really like block vision, because if they were in different spots, the two things together might like three-dimensionally block a lot of like the visions and angles. As we're in this situation, it's a lot less of a problem because the walkways are just over top or underneath the pipe. So I felt like that was going to be a good idea to kind of cut back, because I wanted to stop. It's, you know, it's a tough situation to basically get like everything you want out of the board without giving up something else, because every time you change one little thing, you know, you're essentially like affecting something else somewhere else. So you don't realize it at first, but you're like, oh, let me make this one little change here, and then it really is sort of like a like butterfly effect of changes like on your board, because each little change you had made